So it's always nice to talk about current events, and unfortunately there's not much going on these days. Speaking tonight, I was just trying to looking through the newspaper, seeing if there's some relevant topic that people are talking about, interested in. But no, really, it's an honor to speak on what might be the last night of America.
5 minutes.
This nice, this experiment of democracy. People have described watching like the elections tonight like they were watching the season finale of the United States of America. There was a post that went out that said that the United States is currently in labor, and they're not sure if they're going to have a boy or a girl. But either way, there's going to be a postpartum depression situation afterwards. So this is a very heated election. This has been a very anxious and really tense time in our country the last couple of months. If you're married, you have sometimes these dreaded moments where you come home and your spouse says to you, "Do you know what day today is?" And you know that you're in for it because it's something going on. That's the feeling you got when people these days ask, "Do you know who you're voting for yet?" Because you knew you were in for it one way or the other. When people were asking that, you were in trouble. It was really tense. People, it still is. You don't know what to say. I mean, people on the Trump side, if Hillary gets elected, they think that she's going to send out the nuclear codes on her Gmail, and she's going to give Israel away to the Arabs. And if Trump gets elected, people think there's going to be this bleak, dystopian, horrible landscape of perversion and recklessness. So it's confusing. It's scary. What is the religious perspective? Well, we have religion, we have a Torah, we have a way to look at life. How do we look at this election from our perspective as religious Jews who have a Torah, who have instruction? So, the Chavetz Chaim was one of the leaders of the previous century, the 20th century, and not known for his political views, but interestingly enough, I did uncover a story about the Chavetz Chaim and elections. I read it in an article, and it was the story was related by Reb Meir Soloveitchik, who just recently passed away. He was a son of Reb Yitzchak Zev Soloveitchik, the Brisker Rav, and he said that there was an election in Europe. I don't know which state or what it regarded, but the Chavetz Chaim was very involved, and he sided with one candidate, and he was pushing it. He wanted that candidate to win, and he was very adamant about going for that candidate and nothing else. So the election, or whatever procedure they used to elect their people there was going on, and somebody went to the Chavetz Chaim and he goes, "So do you know who won yet?" And he said, "Segei mir nicht an," which in Yiddish means, "I don't really care. Doesn't matter to me who won." He says, "The Rebbeinu Shalom won." And what did he mean? What does this attitude reflect? The pasuk in Mishlei says, "Leiv Melech biyad Hashem," that our leaders are controlled by Hashem, by God. What they do is not really, it seems to be their choice, but ultimately God, Hashem, controls the events. Just a cute story about this pasuk. When Menachem Begin came to visit America in 1977, he was somewhat religious, or connected to religious people, and he wanted to meet the religious leaders. So he met Reb Soloveitchik, and he met Reb Moshe Feinstein, Reb Yaakov Kamenetsky, or Yitzchak Hudner. He went to Reb Moshe Feinstein's house to meet them, which was a tremendous respect that the Prime Minister of Israel would go to this Orthodox rabbi's little apartment. Soloveitchik went to him. He said, "I don't want him to come to me." But the other Gedolim let Reb Menachem Begin come into their apartment, and he said to them, "Rabbis, I would like you, first, I have a heart condition, can you please daven for me?" So Reb Yaakov Kamenetsky, who knew that Begin had a knowledge of the Bible, said, "We don't have to daven for your heart condition. Leiv Melech biyad Hashem." The leiv is already, Hashem's going to take care of your leiv. So, but getting back to the perspective, The Chofetz Chaim didn't care who won the election. How could that be if he was so involved in the actual before of the election and promoting one candidate? So to understand that story, to understand the perspective, I just want to bring one other illustration, one other story that I think will bring out the concept that I'm trying to explain. That's a story about Rabbi Yitzchak Zev Soloveitchik, who was the Brisker Rav, who grew up in Europe pre-war and escaped through the war, and ultimately landed in Israel. At the beginning of the war, he was in Warsaw. I don't know if it was the ghetto yet, but it was Warsaw. They were being invaded, and the Nazis were bombing it, shelling it, and bombing it. And this leader, this Brisker Rav, was known for his meticulous observance, almost to the point of where he would be able to move. He would have very hard time making decisions about. He would be so concerned with keeping the halacha that he would be take it to the level that people wouldn't even understand. He would take him hours to say Shema. He was very, very meticulous. Seemed to be nervous about keeping halachas. And when it came to safety, he was also very concerned and always asking which is the safest and make sure that my people are safe. He was very concerned with safety. And the bombs were raining down in Warsaw, and people were dying left and right, and he was sleeping like a baby. And he was not nervous at all. And there were previous times in those years where he was very nervous about safety and about bombs. And somebody said to him, how could you sleep? Why are you so calm? And he goes, I was never nervous about the bombs. I was never worried or concerned about the bombs or the Nazis. I was concerned about keeping the mitzvah of keeping myself healthy. I had to do my job in making sure I kept that mitzvah. Now I see that the bombs are falling everywhere. It makes no difference what I do. You could be in the attic, they'll bomb there. They could be in the basement, they'll go anywhere. There's nothing for me to do anymore. I've done my job. I'm calm. That was the only thing I was worried about. And I think that's the attitude that the Chofetz Chaim was saying. We have to vote. We have Rav Moshe Feinstein wrote a letter about Hakaras HaTov to the country. We have a duty as a citizen. We have to vote, and we have to make an intelligent decision about who to vote for. I'm not going to talk about that tonight. What the decision should be. But what about now that we've done our duty and we've thought about it and we voted? Should we be concerned? Should we be nervous? Should we be like the Hillary supporters who think Trump is going to ruin the country? Should we be like the Trump supporters who think Hillary is a criminal and we're doomed? Which is what the whole country feels right now. We're all doomed. No, because it was the same yesterday and the same was today. We had an obligation to vote, and we did. And now the rest is in Hashem's hands. And he'll take care of us, and we'll be safe, or that's it. We have nothing else to look for besides that. And so rest easy. We don't even have to know who won. It doesn't matter to us. It's all going to be okay either way.
I'll let you know next week, next Tuesday.